Infusion enchanting can be quite frustrating, mainly when it comes to calculating the required combination of bookshelf. But this has an end now with my modular infusion setup. You can bring all your infusion dreams to life with just one click. Sigil of Socketing, Library of Alexandria, Unbreakable Charms, you name it. And I will show you how to make the setup yourself. First off, you're going to need an area of 19 by 12 by 4. Again, here you have the exact measurements. And this is how it's going to look like if you added the walls. Next up, we're going to place our enchanting table, so we have an idea where everything is getting placed. And from here on, you're going to destroy those two blocks here, this one, and those two on the right, because here we're going to place our sticky pistons. So in total, we have 5 sticky pistons in the back. Then we are going to destroy another 7 blocks here. So we have 1 space from the wall we originally built, and then 7 blocks completely getting filled with our sticky pistons. Then we're actually going to do one-to-one the same thing on the other side, placing 7 sticky pistons. So this is how it's going to look like on the back, left and right. However, there's also one last one we have to destroy, which is this one where we're going to place our last sticky pistons. So this is the total sticky piston setup. So next step, we're going to add our bookshelves. For that, we're going to need 5 draconic bookshelves, 7 echoing deep shelves, 6 soul touch deep shelves, 1 end shelf, 4 shelf of end infused rectification, 3 shelves of masterful sight, lastly 1 melon shelf. For the placement, we're going to place our draconic bookshelves in the corners here. So we have 2 here, 2 there, and 1 at this spot. Next, around that, we're going to place our shelves of end infused rectification, a shelf of masterful sight right there. And since we already have it on our hand, we're going to place our other shelves of masterful sight in those corners. For the sides, we're going to have purely soul touched and echoing deep shelves. So on this side, we're going to put the echoing ones, in total 7 of them. That's how it's going to look. On the other side, we have 6 soul touch and 1 end shelf. And then lastly, oh yeah, I just fell into it, we have our melon shelf. So in total, this is how your bookshelves should look like before we go further. And that's all about the basic setup. As the next step, we're going to have a look at the redstone. So for that, I'm going to build my the same wall I had in the introduction. So in total, we need 6 transmitters, and above them, I'm going to put the 6 item frames. And into these 6 item frames, we're going to put our infusion enchanting items. The first one is going to be the Tome of Superior Scraping. The second one, the Tome of Extraction. After that, the Superior Sigil of Socketing. Then after that, Library of Alexandria. Then max level enchantments. For that, I'm using a enchanted book. And lastly, the Unbreakable Charms. Those are the 6 infusion enchantings you can do with the setup. And the reason why we all are ordering in them in this way, as you saw in the introduction, the redstone is kind of additively, so the bookshelves are adding on top of each other. So we're starting with the smallest amount of bookshelves here, and then we're adding always like 1 or 2 additional bookshelves for each of the stages for the perfect setup. The only exception here is the charm one. So here you have to be careful that you don't that you put it at best at the end, because this one is going to work differently than the other ones. We're going to have a quick look at the channels and the redstone transmitters down here, because here the numbers are currently a bit messed up. So what I would recommend you to do is right click on the channel, reset it, then close it, then right click again. Then it's going to add a new channel at the top. So this one is now channel 32. And now you can add in your naming. So for this one, we're going to just name it scraping. Because you only have a short name, you're not able to see the full name if you try to write it. And now we're repeating the same things. Right click on the next one, resetting the channel, closing the window, right clicking it, and then the channel is 33. This way, if you, for instance, have already some channels, you have like the consistent ones. I'm going to quickly do the same thing for the other ones. One small thing to note, actually I just noticed you don't have to click outside of the window. You can just reset the channel, type in the name, and then it's automatically putting the channel and putting a new channel here. So now you should have perfectly numbered your channels one after the other with short names. And next up, we're going to connect those transmitters to our tablet. So So this was the way I was able to do in the introduction the kind of wireless redstone. So for that you're going to need a redstone module at first, which is made like this. And then you can right click with this on each of those transmitters. And as you can see in the bottom left, we are adding multiple channels. Then we're going to need the tablet. This one is made like this out of emerald, redstone and a block of quartz. And then if you right click with the tablet, you can put in here now our redstone module. And if you right click now, you have the same setup as I had in the introduction. So with this, you can now activate each of those different transmitters. And now we're going to connect the transmitters with our receivers and our pistons. First off, we're going to prepare the redstone. So for that, we're going to add a couple more blocks right here behind our pistons. And we're adding redstone repeaters, since those allow us to only target the upper pistons. For the lower pistons, we're going to already destroy a couple of blocks, since we need to get here in a second. Then we come to the pistons of the Eterna bookshelves. So here we're going to place a couple more blocks in this kind of shape. The same thing kind of mirrored we're going to do on the other side. Oh, this one here. And then again, we're placing our repeaters. And on the right side, we have a bit of a different setup. So here we only do this. So 2 rows, putting our repeaters. And then we have this one. For this one, we're going to, this is the piston for the end shelf. For this one, we're going to place a couple of blocks, since we need a bit more space for this. Connect this with redstone. And then we come to the next part, which are the logic blocks, I guess. They are really important for the setup, since they allow us to target multiple redstone sources. So if we have a look inside of this logic block, you can see we have ABC, and then we can decide should it emit a redstone signal or not. So for instance, for the first one, right now, this is the current state of it. Right now, it doesn't have any redstone signal from the sides. And we could actually set it active now. But that's not what we want. Actually, all the logic ones, we want to set that they are active if only one redstone is visible. So on C, we set it on B only, we put it to on, and at A, we put it to on. And this is not the only one place where we place a logic tool. We're also going to use it for for all the Eterna bookshelves. So here we're going to place it right behind each of our, pistons and repeaters. And we're going to change all of them similarly to on only. And that was the last one of those 5. And then we have actually another 2 right here. So for that, I'm using the ones on the outer side, so we have a bit more space. So we're putting here our logic gate. And then we're adding 1 more block on the side here. And we do the same thing here at the bottom. We are putting 1 more logic gate, and again, changing ABC to only if A, B, or C is active to on. And now we are already finished with most of the hard work. Now we can go step by step and connect each of our items to each of the bookshelves. And for that, we're going to use the Redstone Receiver. It's the opposite element of the transmitter, and it allows us to transfer our redstone input over long distances. So as a quick demonstration, if we use our tablet and our receiver, we can now use redstone. So as the first step, we're now going to connect all the bookshelves we're going to need for our Tome of Superior Scraping. First off, making sure that we connected our receiver, and now we're going to go to our bookshelves. The first one we're going to connect is the Draconic bookshelf down there. So we need 1 Draconic, and it's already working. We need 3 Echoing Deep Shelves. So we're going to connect 3 of those. So 1, 2, and 3. So now it's going to look like this, with this one in the back. And then we're going to need 1 Soul Touch Deep Shelf. So for that, let me quickly go down here. Now I did it. And we are going to need our end shelf. So for that, we're going to place another one right here. And with this, you can now enchant your Tome of Scraping. Next up, we have the Tome of Extraction. For this one, again, we're going to right click on the transmitter to set the channel. We're going to right click our tablet, enabling the redstone. And now we're going to fly over to the 2 bookshelves we're going to add. The first one is the Draconic bookshelf. Since we need 1 more, we're just adding it to our logic gate. This one's getting now activated, and now it's fully filled out. And the other one is actually the logic gate we have set for the normal end shelf, since we want to deactivate this one. And this is quite easy. You just have to place the receiver. Since in this case right now, both of them are active, and since we didn't activate it, which would be A and C together, as you can see here, it's set off. So that way the end shelf was pulled in, and now we have the setup for the Tome of Extraction. Next up, we have the Sigil of Socketing, same way we did before, setting the channel, opening up the tablet, activating the redstone so we can see if everything is working fine. And for the Sigil, we're going to need to add 2 additional echoing deep shelf. So we're just adding 1 up there and 1 down here. In this way, you can change the placement as you want, but I just prefer it this way because it has like more of a nice aesthetic. And then we are also going to need 1 more soul touch one. So again, we're going down here, place our block, and we are already fully connected for the next one. Next up is the Library of Alexandria. Again, we're going to right click the transmitter. We're going to activate the redstone, and then we're going to add the bookshelves. So for this one, we actually need only 2 additional echoing deep shelves. So now this wall is actually full extended. Next up, we're going to add 1 more draconic end shelf. And we are done for the Library of Alexandria. And now we're getting to the maximum enchantments. For this one, again, right clicking, setting the transmitter, and then activating the redstone. And this one is actually easy because we just need to fill out the remaining spots. So actually we need the Eterna on this side. So we're adding 2 more receivers. And now we have maximum Eterna. And now we're just filling up the Quanta. So we're placing 1 receiver behind each of them. And we have now our maximum setup. So as you can see in the top left corner, Eterna 50, Quanta 100, Arcana 100, Rectification 100, and Enchanting Clues 7. Lastly, we have the Unbreakable Charm. This one is the hardest one, so make sure to keep attention. And we're right clicking on the transmitter. We actually deactivate all the redstone and activate the redstone for the charm, since this one is separate. And now we're going to place our receivers. So first off, we're going to add 1 more receiver on this one. So this one's now active because this one is deactivated, this one is activated, so the energy is going through. Then we're going to do the same thing for this one down here, since we need 2 echoing deep shelves. And then we're going to do actually the same thing for all of the Eterna. So it's because we need a max level of Eterna. So just placing 5 receivers right here. And then we are actually adding 1 more receiver on this one, which is the end shelf. And we're almost done. We just need our melon shelf down here. So we just destroy a couple of blocks, place the receiver, and then we can close this one up. And now we have our perfect setup for the charms. I wanted to give a quick explanation why we are doing the setup as we're doing it. Especially for the ones who are more experienced, they might know if we actually activate, let's say, up to the Library of Alexandria, and we put in our Tome of Scraping, we can actually infuse it. So, okay, why don't we only build this setup? The reason for that is the Eterna, because this way we only need for the Tome of Scraping to be upgraded, we need a Eterna value of 22.5 and actually a experience level of 45. However, since the Eterna is at level 100, the infusion will be at 100. So we're wasting a lot of experience points if we do the infusion enchanting this way. The same thing is actually also for the Tome of Extraction. We can put it in, we can infuse it with level 100. However, it's not the most efficient way. That's the reason why we built the system how it is, so we can decrease the Eterna and only spend the experience we really want to spend. And this is especially important for the Sigil of Socketing, since you're going to need a lot of them and there's no alternative for this kind of object, so you really want to be efficient while producing them. And that is the modular bookshelf setup. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to hit the like and the subscribe button. Also feel free to leave a comment with new ideas, feedback or questions. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have an amazing day.